Hallo und willkommen zu Lonestar. Wir spielen Whispers of a Machine. Wir sind gerade im Polizeihauptquartier und können uns erstmal umschauen.
A thermos, presumably filled with coffee. A thermos. Damn good coffee.
Erstmal einen Kaffee getrunken.
It's a map of Nordsund. Looks like the center of the disk is hollow. Curious. Nah, I have work to do.
Wo war denn jetzt der, wo wir hin sollen? Der
Anderson appears to be a
Anderson.
decent chief of police, but
Anderson's office.
All right, Agent. Would you like me to brief you about the first murder?
yes, please.
Maya Strand, 41 years old, the caretaker of the Nordsund Museum. She was found by the janitor on the floor near the exhibits early last Wednesday. Just like Carl, she was stabbed. No witnesses, no evidence. Killer practically a ghost. No signs of a forced entry, so either the entrance was open or she let him in herself.
What about her residence? Anything out of the ordinary in there?
Nothing, as far as we could tell. But we left the place as we found it if you want to have a look. She lived upstairs from the museum.
Noted. The crime scene is no longer intact, though, correct?
Afraid so. The museum is important to Nordsund, so we had the place cleaned out pretty quickly.
Right, but now that I'm here, I'll assume that you'll check with me before clearing out any future crime scenes. Sorry to hear that. I guess bureaucrats messing up police work isn't just a city problem, huh? Exactly what kind of power does the town hall have over the Nordsund police?
Sorry to hear that. I guess bureaucrats messing up police work isn't just a city problem, huh?
You have no idea. Sometimes I feel like I'm spending half my time arguing with those fools.
One more thing. I'd like to see Maya's body, if that's possible.
Of course. We brought it out of the freezer this morning. You'll find it in the morgue, over at the clinic. Dr. Persson, our physician, is awaiting your arrival.
Good. I'll head there when we're done. Did you know Maya Strand?
Not at all. Museums aren't my cup of tea. I prefer to not dwell on the past.
What's your opinion on Stina Ruth?
I respect her. She's a competent politician. She gets things done, unlike some of the other people on the council. Sure, she has a temper, and she's not the most tactful person, but she calls out bullshit when she sees it. When I'm right, she has my back, and when I'm wrong, well, she won't let me revel in my sweet ignorance for long.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Me? Oh, I've been doing this job for 15 years now. I took over when the previous commissary died. I'm married with 3 children. Anita, my youngest, is off studying science in the city now. We're counting the days to Christmas when she comes back to visit.
I'm looking for a young woman connected to the second victim, Carl.
All right. What do you know about her?
All I have is a picture of her that I found on Carl, but it's damaged and her face can't be clearly seen.
Tricky. If you had any kind of personal information, like an address, you could look her up in our records. They're in the drawers behind me.
Noted. I'll get back to you about this if I learn more. What do you think of Gabriel?
My nephew is a fine officer. He's a law and order kind of person. Stern, but fair.
Oh, law enforcement runs in the family.
I wish, but so far Gabriel and I are the only ones. I've been trying to get my son to join the force for years. All he cares about is girls and fishing. Suppose it could be worse. At least he brings home a fresh trout every now and then.
Wie meint denn das?
Did you know Carl Oscarson?
I wouldn't say so. He and my son were playmates as children, but they grew apart in their teens. I haven't talked to Carl myself for many years.
Do you know if saffron is grown anywhere in Nordsund?
I think so, yes. There should be someone in town with more information.
What do you know about the murder in the locker room over at the workshop hall?
Not much. As you know, the murder happened shortly before you arrived, so I'm leaving the matter in your capable hands.
Do you know who the woman in this picture is?
No idea, sorry.
Any idea of what this opens?
Nope, not a clue.
What do you make of this?
Not sure. But if you need to know when somebody came to town, I'd suggest looking in the citizens' records behind me.
Right. I might do that if I can figure out who wrote this note.
Dann sind wir erstmal durch.
Very well.
A collection of what seems to be both fiction and books on law and social sciences. If that's all Anderson's, he's quite well read.
Ein Haufen Monitore.
The window offers a view over a street that connects to the town square. Just lots of case files. Looks like a logbook. Maybe Anderson records his daily work there.
Was ist das für Zeug?
A small local greenhouse. A typical site in Nordsund, it seems.
Da ist doch sicher irgendwas faul mit dem Ding.
I guess Anderson has a colleague.
Nehmen wir mal den Scanner. Ach, wir haben Karls Bio an. Ist natürlich fies, hier einfach mal zu scannen. Nee, hier war er wohl nicht. Dann schauen wir mal in unser Zimmer.
Looks purely decorative. There's a bottle of molding resin here. Might be useful.
Ein Elevator.
Nice big lemon. Small miracle to see it grow to that size under these conditions.
Potted Plant. Ich habe zuerst Rotted gelesen.
No, I'm not tired. Maybe later. I'm not that hungry.
Der letzte hat nicht geputzt.
Doesn't appear to be functional. There's not even a switch or anything.
Nee. Gut, es hätte uns auch gewundert, wenn er hier gewesen wäre.
Unmanned. Makes sense with no people in here.
Die Zellen.
Empty. Probably for opening the cells. I don't need to mess with that. Empty.
Ja.
Low maintenance. My kind of plant.
Dann schauen wir uns doch mal die Leiche an.
Hi there.
Hello.
Thought I'd introduce myself, since I'll be coming here a lot. I'm Agent England, Central Bureau.
Oh, nice to meet you. It's a relief to have you here. We're all shook by these recent killings. Sure, the doctor's excited, but even his morbid curiosity has limits, you know. After all, we mostly treat coughs and the occasional broken limb here.
I get it. I'll do my best to help. Oh, by the way, I'm supposed to go to the morgue. Where's that?
Down the stairs on your left.
Great, thanks.
Können wir sie noch ein bisschen befragen?
I'm guessing those contain patient files and such. It's a map of the clinic layout. A list of admitted patients. I don't recognize any of the names. An old freight elevator of some kind. Likely out of order.
Okay, schon wieder ein Aufzug, der nicht funktioniert.
Healthy looking plant.
Vielleicht kommt da der Mörder von einer Stelle zur anderen, indem er in den Häusern die Aufzüge benutzt.
Locked.
Okay, dann gehen wir einfach mal nach unten.
Don't worry, Maya. You'll be put to rest soon.
Oh, jetzt habe ich es
Oh,
weggeklickt.
hello there. Me and this old gal have been expecting you.
Talkative, is she?
Oh, no doubt. The dead have a lot to say, you know. Sometimes more so than the living.
Is that so?
The living are fickle and prone to deceit. Once dead, we can't hide things anymore. Not from me, at least.
I agree, these days people must prove themselves trustworthy before I rely on them. I'm sorry you feel that way. I think most men and women out there are sincere. That's why we need ways to tell what someone is hiding.
That's why we need ways to tell what someone is hiding.
I suppose. Psychology isn't really my field of expertise.
That's fine. You can leave that part to me. Now, I'd like to ask some questions.
Sure, go right ahead.
Ja, dann hängen wir ihn doch gleich mal an den Biometric Analyzer.
Did you know Carl Oscarson?
No. When I heard he was murdered, I didn't even recognize his name. I had to check my records to realize that I've treated him. To be fair, I've had many patients. But he must have been cursed with one of those awfully forgettable faces.
All right. Anything out of the ordinary in his medical history?
Sorry. Can't go into detail. Doctor-patient confidentiality, you know?
Keep it vague, then.
Well, okay. Let me put it this
Er
way.
ist doch tot.
I doubt you'd learn much from his file.
Noted. Thanks. What do you think of Gabriel?
Your average policeman. I have no strong opinion about him one way or the other.
I'm looking for a young woman connected to the second victim, Carl.
I can't help with that. I didn't know Carl on a personal level.
What do you think of Commissary Anderson?
I think he does a fine job. He's been instrumental in making sure that I can work under such good conditions.
Yeah, this place is surprisingly well equipped. Definitely on par with our facilities in the city.
Haben Sie vielleicht öfters Tote hier?
What do you think of Stina Ruth, the councilwoman?
She can be quite an unpleasant woman. I can't say I've enjoyed my few interactions with her.
Did you know Maya Strand?
Not really, but I enjoyed listening to the occasional lecture of hers at the museum. She had quite an intellect, that woman.
So she wasn't a patient of yours?
Oh, she was, but that's all confidential, so I can't say much about it.
I understand, but anything you can share would help.
Well, during the autopsy I noticed that she was unusually worn and feeble for her age.
Okay. And what does that tell us?
For one thing, that she would have needed help with the more physically demanding tasks of the museum.
Got it. Thanks. What can you tell me about yourself, Doctor?
Oh, me? I suppose I would qualify as a workaholic. Most of my time is spent here.
So how long have you been practicing medicine?
Must be 16 years now, I believe.
Huh. And you're the only doctor in Nordsund?
Yes, but we have good relations with the other settlements. We collaborate and pool resources when necessary.
Dann fragen wir mal nach dem Mord an Karl.
Any theories on Carl's murder?
Not yet. I'll need to see the body first.
Stimmt, der fehlt ja noch.
Do you know where saffron is grown in Nordsund?
I'm afraid not. We have plants all over, but botany is not my area of expertise.
What are your conclusions about Maya's murder?
Most obvious first. The cause of death is acute blood loss due to the multiple stab wounds to the chest and stomach, 2 of which were lethal. The murder weapon is a mid-sized blade, likely a knife of some kind. There are some defense wounds on her arms, so the victim likely tried to shield herself against her assailant. I couldn't recover any biological traces of the murderer. There's no blood on her that isn't hers, or any traces of skin under her nails. This makes me suspect that the killer likely wore protective clothing and gloves. The time of death was roughly 2300 hours last Tuesday, 5 days ago today.
Dann zeigen wir ihm mal das Bild.
Do you recognize this couple?
The man is clearly the second victim, Carl. As for the woman, it's too hard to tell given the damage to the photo.
Do you know what this opens?
Not a clue. But it looks like a one-of-a-kind key.
What do you make of this?
The handwriting looks feminine, but I'm not sure what to make of the contents.
Tja dann.
That's enough questions for now.
Okie dokie. Oh, one last thing. I've been told that the second body is on its way here. If you come back later today, I should be able to tell you something about it.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Dann nehmen wir mal unseren Scanner. Maya's bio. Deceased female. Age 43 plus minus 3 years. Type O negative. Oh, negativ stimmt gar nicht. Das habe ich mir ausgedacht. Estimated time of death. T minus 5 days. DNA and fingerprints added to data vault. Ist also das gleiche, ja, die gleichen Klingen gewesen wie bei Karl. Also gleicher Täter. Okay.
I had some more things to ask.
Shoot.
Ja, wir können ihm leider nicht
That's
sagen,
enough
dass es die
questions for now.
gleichen
Okie dokie.
Wunden sind wie bei Karl.
I think that's for collecting the ashes after a cremation. Appears to be a small crematory. One last waiting room before the final embrace with the earth.
Oder mehr wohl dem Himmel. Hm?
I suppose that's where the doctor writes down his autopsy reports. This might be useful.
Genau, wir klauen mal ein Messer.
I'll
Warum auch
wash my
nicht?
hands when I go to bed. Plenty of time still to get my hands dirty.
I hope you can help the doctor finish up with the dead bodies soon. I think it's healthier for him to treat living people.
Okay, mit dir können wir also nicht vernünftig reden. Dann schauen wir uns doch mal...
Sounds like a class is in progress.
But what happens if you do it anyway?
Then policemen or women will come and arrest you.
Whoa. Harsh.
It's the law. We mustn't make things that can think for themselves.
But my parents created me, and I can think for myself. Did they break the law?
You make a good point, Alicia, but that's quite different.
Different how? I don't get why it's more dangerous to create a thinking machine than a thinking person.
You think too much, Allie.
No, that's good. You should always ask questions like these.
Okay, seltsam. Da ist das Museum. Da ist der Raum. Also da, wo sie gewohnt
what's
hat.
happening here?
Bit of an electrical problem with some fallen power lines. It's being taken care of, but it'll be a while.
So I can't enter the museum?
Well, you can, but only if electrocution is something you enjoy during working hours.
Electrocution, that's funny, so when can you have this fixed? Will there also be incineration? I prefer my electrocutions to be followed by intense burning. What caused it? Did someone mess up, or was there some kind of environmental damage?
What caused it? Did someone mess up, or was there some kind of environmental damage?
Oh, we've had a windy week. An old tree fell down and ripped down a major power line. It's in a tricky spot, and due to how the grid is built up, I can't cut the power safely without affecting half the town.
Sounds like a flawed design. Is that typical for electrical grids these days?
Not really. This power grid is quite old, constructed shortly after the collapse. That meant they had to improvise. They couldn't just clone existing power systems at the time, since those were reliant on service robots with negligible safety concerns. So yeah, now I'm paying the price. The whole thing is riddled with hacks and workarounds, each one more dangerous than the next.
I see. I don't envy such a hazardous work environment. How long will it take you to fix?
Hard to say, but it should be done by tomorrow morning.
Understood. Can I go to the apartment upstairs, though?
Well, sure. That area is unaffected by the damage.
All right, good. Thanks.
Okay, wir können also hoch.
All right, Maya's place. Let's see if I can find any clues in here.
Pilze?
Nice collection of mushrooms. Looks like the edible kind. Some old pre-collapse gadgets, probably for the museum. Looks like a hard and uncomfortable chair. Wouldn't risk falling asleep on the job in that one. Some kind of airtight container. It's labeled nutrients.
Na, sind wir lieber vorsichtig.
It's a sketch of a museum exhibition of some kind. It's titled Path of the Pilgrim.
Na, das brauchen wir doch sicher.
Doesn't appear to have power. Just as well. I wouldn't know how to make heads or tails of it anyway. I have no clue what this thing does, but it looks like it could have something to do with processing samples. Looks like various plant samples.
Oh, der Arm vom T1000.
A trophy in the shape of a robotic arm with a plaque. Winner of the 2041 Annual Nordstrom Awards, Sebastian Strand. An old relative of Maya's? Not sure what kind of plants those are. Maybe medicinal? Doesn't look like vegetables anyway. This crude bed looks regularly used.
Gut, dann wird's Zeit zum Scannen. Hier haben wir aber gar nichts. Da hat sie also drauf gedrückt. Eigentlich müsste der ganze Raum ihre DNA enthalten. Hier sind nochmal Fingerprints.
Oddly dense cluster of prints on the corner of this panel here.
Prince, habe ich gesagt. Okay. Das kennen wir schon. Karl war also nicht da. Es gibt also vielleicht keine persönliche Verbindung hierher. Fußabdrücke gibt es auch keine.
A hidden safe. Locked, unfortunately, but there's the keyhole.
Ob da der Schlüssel passt?
Some kind of airtight container. It's labeled nutrients. Some kind of...
Okay, kann ich nicht öffnen.
This crude bed looks regularly used. No use. It's locked.
Tja, wir haben einen
A
Safe-Schlüssel.
small, unique-looking key.
Vielleicht passt er ja. Na,
It's a fit. Huh. Since this key was hidden by Carl, it looks like we have a clear connection between the two victims. Let's have
Also
a
doch.
look. A few bags of rare seeds, a bar of platinum, some coins, and
Platinum?
a book. The book looks important. I'll take it. Maya must have hidden it here for a good reason. I already searched that.
können wir nicht schließen. Bock.
The title is The Conduit Codex. Now, wait a minute. This can't be the Conduit, can it? Those crazy zealots trying to resurrect AI? I think this case just got a lot more complicated. There was a written piece of paper used as a bookmark. I put it aside. Let's have a look in the book.
Creed of the Conduit. I trust in my mind. God is my mind's creation, conceived in my mind and born by it. God is in my mind's extension, and like a child outlives his mother, so we God survive my mind's demise. Gerd, sister of fate. Gerd? A parent asked his future child, if you turn wicked, can I stop you? Rein you in like a prancing steed, stomp you out like a fleeing spark. And the child replied, I can be failed and left forlorn, but never stopped nor made unborn. Melinda, sister of prudence, awake in you, dear break of day, you're welcome not to overstay. Do not rush, but please remember that which burns has turned to ember. He who raced upon the meadows now does rest in pleasant shadows. She who hurried but still was late, yet took her time to contemplate. Okay, seltsame Gedichte. Huldra. Was das wohl ist? Pilgrim's Prayer. I am invigorated by my face. Second, I gaze at the skies to ensure that the path is clear. Third, I strike down my foes blessed with impeccable aim. Fourth, I'm nearing my goal and I press on for another full day. I have found your heaven, God, and may finally rest by your side. Das sieht aus wie ein Rätsel, wo man irgendwas mit öffnen muss. Seltsam. Note from book.
This was used as a bookmark in the book I found in Maya's safe. It reads, Consul PW, think new, Katerina.
What?
Doesn't appear to have power. Just as well. I wouldn't know how to make heads or tails of it anyway.
Aber Karl war nicht da.
Some old pre-collapse... No, I'll leave her to her job for now. Looks like an old hovercraft. I don't need to go down to the ground right now.
Ach so, man ist ja oben auf dieser Plattform.
No need to go back in there.
Ach, wir hätten noch mal mit dem anderen reden können. Aha, wir sind also in diese Richtung abgedriftet. Tja. Als nächstes können wir einfach mal mit... Wie heißt sie nochmal?
Stina Ruth, ex-agent and the designated overseer of Nordsund. I think I can learn a lot from her.
Also wir können als nächstes vielleicht mal mit Stina reden. Aber das machen wir alles nicht mehr heute. Ich würde sagen, wir machen an dieser Stelle lieber erstmal ein kleines Päuschen. Und ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen und wir sehen uns das nächste Mal.